Hello and welcome to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. I am Craig Forrestall. I am That Sports Guy. Go ahead and find me on Twitter at that_sports_guy, where you can find all of my latest football takes. Also, NFLDraftDiamonds.com is proud to feature the That Sports Guy podcast on its website. Stop by NFLDraftDiamonds.com, your official draft coverage king. Hello and welcome to another player profile interview. I am Craig Forrestall. You know me from Twitter as at that_sports_guy. But as we've come to learn, it's all about who's on the other end of this call. And today we have Notre Dame College in Ohio offensive lineman Jimmy Burchett. Jimmy, how we doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing good over here. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm excited to talk ball, but before we get into it, I got to know, Alliance, Ohio. That's your hometown. What was it like growing up in Alliance, and how close is that to Cleveland?
Okay, yes, sir. Alliance, love that place right there. Grew up my whole life there, and a lot of people know Alliance as a home of the Mount Union Raiders. They're a pretty solid Division III football team, powerhouse. And growing up there, I mean, it was quiet. It's about a 25 to 30,000 people town, and I mean, a lot of my life has been sports, and my mom growing up just loved getting us out there and putting any kind of sports ball in our hand. So, I mean, growing up in Alliance was fun, nice and quiet. And it's about an hour and 15, about an hour and 20 minutes away from Cleveland. So it's still, I'm a big mommy's boy kind of. So I kind of couldn't go too far away from her. So this was a good distance for me.
So if you're going to make an unexpected visit home, what's mom going to whip up for you? What's that comfort food meal? What's her go-to?
Oh, the go-to is probably the chicken Alfredo. She kills it.
Oh, you know what? I might have to get me something freezed and sent down here to Florida. That's my favorite. So, but I got to ask you, you said that your family was big on getting you into sports. And I'm just going to run through the sports you played in high school and then a little something I found out about you. In high school, you were on the football, track, wrestling, and baseball teams. And in your free time, you enjoy playing basketball. Is there a sport you can't play?
Well, I mean, if you ask my family that, I'm sure they're all going to say there's a lot of sports I can't play just because they like being competitive and think they can beat me in it, you know. But as far as sports I can't play, I mean, I'd probably say I was probably worse at golf. I can hit it probably about a mile, but the putt game and everything is not quite there yet. So that's something I might want to get better at later in life. But I would say golf's probably the worst right now.
And you said that your family's competitive. So is it just a bunch of athletes in your family?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. A lot of them like to think they're a little bit athletic, but some of them do shine out. For like my family alone, my brother was a pretty good athlete, and he also played baseball and football at St. Thomas Aquinas with me in high school. And then he went on and actually was a pitcher at Ashland University, which is a Division II school. So he did that for a little bit. And then where I'd like to claim a little bit of my athleticism is probably for my grandma. She's been playing softball up until she was 79 years old, and she's in the Softball Hall of Fame. So I'd say that's where my athleticism probably comes from.
Hey, the Softball Hall of Fame, that's nothing to joke around about. Hey, anytime you're a Hall of Famer, that's big-time stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So I'd probably say that's where it all came from. But she's definitely the one where the competitive nature came from. And then with all her children and then coming all of us after that, I mean, there's about 30 of us that get together for parties, and I'd be surprised if there's at least 4 or 5 games. So we love it.
Hey, and Jimmy, then when you got to Notre Dame College early in your career, you spent some time at tight end and fullback. Now, were they just trying to get you on the field as a freshman? Were those specialized packages? Take me through how that all came about.
Okay. So freshman year, we definitely had a real solid starting 5 offensive line. And I kind of asked the coaches what exactly I needed to do to really get out on the field. And they really told me just like I came in a little bit underweight. I will admit, coming from me now, I've been weighing about 310 pounds. It's hard to say I was underweight at one point in college, but I was about 250 pounds actually when I came in my freshman year. And so they kind of told me like, don't like push it or make like a huge deal about it, but like kind of just like wait and really just like learning the playbook. And then so I kind of just really focused in on football and got together with a couple of the football teammates, some on the offensive line, and really got into the playbook. And then eventually started working hard in the weight room. And by about week 7 or week 8, I was actually up to about 285 pounds. So it wasn't the best weight, but I mean, I definitely got put on a lot of muscle and everything. So I got the weight that I needed to, and the coaches were like, "Hey, this man got some dedication to him." So about earlier in the season, week 3 is when I got my first opportunity, and I came in on offense for a little bit because our starting center went down with an injury, and so they decided then it would be okay to really, to I guess put me in, you know. So I started a little bit earlier, and then later in the season when I started putting on the weight and everything, that's when they started saying like they could really use me in other ways. And so there was actually a formation called Pony Gym, which I mean I still remember. I love that one right there. It was a little play sheet with my name on it, and it was just a formation where I go out the tight end. And I really just took 3 steps to the right and turned around, and just hit somebody as hard as I could. So I mean, any way I could get out there. So I appreciate them giving me the opportunity.
Now, did they call your number? Did they give you a chance to score? Did it hit you in the end zone with a little love, a little pass?
I wish. I was only there for the blocking aspect of it.
Hey, you know
That
what?
would have been a cool time, though.
I was going to say, but you know what? As you get older, go ahead and tell the grandkids that you scored.
That's right.
Now,
That's right.
over the last 2 seasons, you've started 28 straight games at guard for Notre Dame College, and you've earned back-to-back All-American honors. Is this what you pictured when you became a mainstay in the starting lineup?
To be honest with you, no, this is beyond anything I could have imagined, honestly. But going in, like I said, just being real dedicated to the sport and hard work, and then coming in my sophomore year, whenever anybody asks, I always give the most credit to my center at the time was Austin Treniff. And that man really just put me to limits that I didn't really think I could get to. And he really just showed me what I could really become. And then after that amazing season that we had, and when we went to the Final Four, I was blessed to really get recognized along with a few others on our team to be an All-American. And that kind of gave me the perception I needed that I could really like do something if I kept pushing myself. And then coming off of last season, having pretty similar success, only making it to the Elite 8 this time, though. But being recognized as a back-to-back All-American is something I didn't think about coming into my college career, but I'm very fortunate and lucky and happy that it's happened so far.
And, Jimmy, you touched on it. A couple other guys on roster had some big-time honors, recognition, and awards as well. If we can stick on the offensive side of the ball, if maybe you could just take a moment to speak about the talent that is with you offensively on the starting unit in Zaire Mitchell at tight end and then also Jaleel McLaughlin at running back.
Yeah, those are some pretty deadly guys in our backfield. And so it started with Zaire Mitchell as a real good friend of mine, Big Z. And he's about 6'7", and I would say around 260, 255 pounds right now. I try to make him bulk up a little bit more. He likes being a little bit on the lighter side so he feels faster, you know. But I keep telling him, man, he should get up there because he's still got his like 6-pack. He needs to get up there, man, to be a big dog. But so he's about as talented as they get and athletic as they come for his size. And throughout the years, he's just really just grown into his body and accepted his role and become more physical with it. And I mean, the sky's the limit for that man. And then I mean, the same thing for Jaleel McLaughlin. He's coming off, I believe, 2 back-to-back 2,000-yard rushing seasons.
Yep, that's correct.
In his true freshman and true sophomore season. So as far as running backs go, being an offensive lineman, I couldn't really ask for anything better in my backfield. And as far as personality goes, you can't really ask for a better guy. I mean, nicest and most humble guy I've ever met. And I've never seen an interview where he hasn't given thanks to the other 21 people on the team why he does so well. But he deserves everything he that's coming his way as well. I think he's the best in the nation.
And it's not just on the offensive side of the ball. You got some pretty heavy, pretty intense work day in and day out in practice with facing Sean Williams, who had 30 sacks over his last 2 seasons in college, including one season where he posted 20 sacks. How do you defend that? How do you stop that?
Oh yeah, Shahan, that's my guy right there. Honestly, I would give him a lot of credit as well, going up against him day in and day out. I mean, once you really figure out what that guy's doing, it's like the person on game day is like his backup. Like they're in a different level. So, I mean, I was very fortunate to have that guy, and I mean, he's another great guy too. He would, like, if he would get me during one play, he would always tell me what I did wrong with it, or if I would get him, I was always teaching him too. So it was a love back and forth relationship. After every practice, always dap it up and say good day, and so that was my guy right there, and I was fortunate to have him, and I think he has a bright future coming too, hopefully.
And let's stick there. With all this talent, you guys have had really nice runs. You've talked about the playoff runs a little bit in your previous answers. But with all those solid seasons, how has that impacted the expectations for this upcoming year?
Uh, well, I mean, expectations for ourselves. I mean, anything less than a national championship is really just unacceptable for us at this point. Just I don't know what the outside view is, and personally, I don't really try to listen to that too much because the only ones I really care about is my family and my brothers that are in that locker room with me. And what we see is a national championship, and I think we can be a really serious contender this year because we have a lot of our talent coming back, and from the past 2 years, we have. I mean, I would say at least 14 starters that have played in the past 2 seasons experienced the Final Four and the Elite Eight game. So I think, I mean, we're experienced enough at this point to understand and realize it goes week by week. It's not like we're waiting for the playoffs. It's like week one is our playoffs, and we're making a statement then, and then we're going to take that all the way to as far as we can, and hopefully that's a national championship.
And I wanted to talk to you about something that I saw online that really, I guess, showcases your athletic ability. One of the drills at the combine, the shuttle drill, this year the best offensive line time was by Ezra Cleveland. He was drafted in the second round by the Minnesota Vikings, and his shuttle time was 4.46. I saw that you posted a 4.28 shuttle time during one of your winter workouts.
Yeah, so that was in one of our winter workouts before all this coronavirus hit. We weren't able to get the whole workout, and of course, like the whole winter season worth. But for what we were able to do, we were going in against competition. So it was you versus your team, of course. I mean, a teammate. So it was like a one-on-one shuttle time. So always that competition gives you a little extra boost. So I mean, I think that definitely helped with it too, because my teammate was moving too. So I think that winter conditioning stuff's definitely helping. But so that was with the hand time. I'd be curious to see what I ran laser, but I mean, I hope it would be somewhere around the same. And that's definitely something I'm gonna keep working on. Definitely, hopefully, make a name for myself.
And now, outside of that athletic ability, what would you say is the best part of your game?
Uh, Personally, I think I'm best when you can get me out in open field, or even just let me open up my feet for a few steps. I like counters, pulls, and anything outside. I really like opening up and showcasing my speed. And I don't know. I've always enjoyed kind of just running through somebody. I don't dance around with them. So whenever I can do that, I mean, it's a good feeling. So I think I'm best when I can open up a little bit.
Definitely. Let's stick there. For some of our listeners that may not understand the in-depth details of offensive line play, when you approach the line of scrimmage pre-snap, what are some of the things that you're looking for, or some of the things that the defense might do to tip you off as to what's coming?
Okay. So just something simple, just like real basic football day one install. I'd probably say just be an inside zone. And for me at right guard, you really got to look at the alignment and you first you judge it on how many down linemen there are to see if it's an even or an odd front, because those can also change your calls around. And then off of that, you see how many linebackers are in the box, because that can also change who you were going to and what call to make. So basing off of that, we'll say it was like a 4-2, so just an even front with 2 linebackers in the box, and that's just real basic. So off the alignment, I want to see where my guy is lined up at, and typically, if they're in an even front, he's either going to line up in a 3-tech, which is, for people that don't understand what a 3-tech is, that is the defensive tackle who is lined up right outside of the offensive guard, his outside shoulder. And then they can also be in the 2-eye or a 1 or a 0. I mean, that would be more of like an odd front, but they can also be inside in like a 2-eye lined up on you. So off of that, you either make a man call or you would make a double team, which in instance for us is an ace. And so that would be me in the center would make a play side double team to the play side linebacker. And then so off of that, you really determines how well you can push the interior lineman to the linebacker, who will really determine who can climb off to the second level. But typically you want to really get the if he's in a 3-tech, you kind of want to get a hold of him and drive him outside and let the center climb. And if he's in a 2-eye, you kind of want to drive through him and let the center overtake, and you bounce off to the linebacker. And then for people listening, sorry if that was kind of confusing. I tried the best I could, but no, I do better with a chalkboard in front of me, you know?
No, I think you did a great job. I was able to follow that. Like you said, if this was going to be day one install, I went there to the day one install. I broke myself down. And you did a great job. So definitely, I think everyone's going to be able to follow that. But now,
I appreciate that.
But now, I want to ask you the tough questions, and if you'll go with me, we're going to start off with, what is the song you're embarrassed to admit you like?
Okay, that's a little tough. I'll say little one that I would say I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit I like would probably be "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus. Not gonna lie, that's a banger. It's one of those. It's like on the playlist since like 2000, whenever it came out. So it's been out there since then, and it's one of those songs. You know, if it comes on during the shuffle, I mean, I'm not gonna like skip it. You know. So that's probably one I'd be embarrassed to admit.
And then, what's the dream car?
Dream car has always been a Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Anything custom to the Dodge Challenger Hellcat?
I mean, just keep it black, low to the ground, and let me and my cousins work on it once I get it. And that's what I like to do. They own a body shop, so I like to get the expert's opinion on that one.
Oh, all right. So you already got the inside job working. Now,
that's right.
Now, what's been the most interesting or memorable college class that you've taken?
Ooh, that's tough too. There's been a whole lot of good ones, and I don't really. It's tough to always just try to say just one professor. So I'm gonna go all the way back to just the most memorable would probably be my FYS class, which is just first year seminar, and that was obviously my first semester in college, and I had that with somebody named Mandy Means, and at the time I didn't know who she was, but she ended up being a really important person to me and a real good friend. She still works in the administration building at Notre Dame College, and all the friends I really met in there outside of the football team are still people I'd consider my friend today. So that class really opened me up to what it really means to be a part of Notre Dame College, you know? So I would say that was a good one.
And now, if you're cruising around campus and you're hungry, what's the best restaurant close to campus?
See, that depends. If it's in season and I'm working a little bit more, burning some calories on the football field, I can afford to eat a little bit greasier. So I say Swenson's with the O lineman right there. That's a good spot. We also got a place, TJ's Chinese Buffet. I mean, that's undefeated. It's like $6 for a Chinese buffet. You can't beat that. But right now, because we're in the summer program, I'll probably stick to either Chipotle or like Subway or something like that. That's where I go right now.
So what you're telling me is I need to come up when you and the boys go hit Swenson's.
Hey, that's right.
All right, so I'll make note. Not while you're in season. No Subway for me.
I hear it.
Now let's go ahead.
We'll run up a check over there.
Oh, let's do it. I'm down for it. Now let's go ahead and let's finish it off, right?
Right.
You just won $1 million, but you can only donate that $1 million to one charity or one cause. What's it going to be?
That's a good question. Right now, with what's going on, off the top of my head, I've always been one that's always wanted to look out for others, and that's always something I've always wanted to do. If I were fortunate enough to make some money playing this sport in the future, that I would always want to give back. And with everything going on right now, I'd probably look into one of the Black Lives Matter fundings right now and see what I could do with that, or maybe also with the coronavirus. It's just there's a lot of people that need our help right now, so I would love to look into that a little bit more if I was able to give $1 million. That's the goal one day, to really be able to do that and help people out. So
that's awesome.
Probably one of those too.
I would say that's awesome that you're sticking with stuff going on right now in this country, trying to do your part to help that if you could with $1 million. Now,
yeah, definitely.
Now let's go ahead and before we sign out and get out of here, what's that one final thing that we need to be on the lookout for the Notre Dame college football program?
That we're still hungry. I'd say that's just don't expect us to be satisfied with what we've accomplished. That's already behind us, and that's the past team's accomplishments. We strive to be better than what we've been before. So I would say that we're hungry and just be ready.
You heard it here first. What they did in the past does not matter this upcoming season. They are hungry and they are ready. They're on the hunt for a national championship. And for Jimmy Burchett, I am Craig Forrestall. Until next time, stay safe and be easy. Hey everybody, Craig Forrestall. Thanks for tuning in and listening to another episode of That Sports Guys podcast. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at @that_sports_guy to catch all the latest updates and podcast episodes. Until next time, stay safe and be easy.